And next on the family table, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this honey. Let's put it this way. It's going to be so tasty. Hi, welcome to the family table. Today's episode, we're going to show you what you do with the honey that we've extracted in our previous show. The honey that we extracted last was fall honey. This is fall honey. It's darker, and it's darker because of the flowers that they took the pollen from. And this is our spring honey, which is a lot lighter. Today we're going to be cooking with the fall honey. So we're going to start by making a honey cake. We're going to start off with our 2 cups of flour. Just going to put it in this bowl. A half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. So, and all we're going to do with that is pretty much just give it a quick stir, just to incorporate the dry ingredients. And just mix it up. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to do the wet ingredients. Now the wet ingredients would be the honey. I have a cup of honey. As you can see, it's the dark brown, which is our fall honey, and very sticky. And we're going to do 1 stick of butter. The butter sits out at room temperature. I pretty much have my butter always at room temperature, especially for baking. The only time you would really use butter at right out of the fridge is for like pie crust, because you want to just really crumble it in there, and when you do that, when it bakes, that's what makes the pie crust nice and flaky. So with that, we're going to put this sticky stuff right in. See how thick it is? Even the fall honey is thicker too. So you've got this honey. Now, I gotta say, I'm gonna try not getting it all over my fingers, because if I was just, making something for myself, my family, my fingers would be in my mouth, licking the honey out. Now this is raw honey, right out of the hive. I put it in mason jars. My husband actually takes a teaspoon of honey every day. So, really good for you. So we're gonna get this mixed up. Now, what you wanna do is just incorporate it so it's just smooth and the honey is mixed up with the butter. After that is done, we're gonna put our eggs in. We're gonna use 3 eggs. Now again, my eggs have been sitting out for a while, so you should always have your eggs at room temperature also. And then we're gonna also put in a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Now I use pure almond extract, same thing with my vanilla. I use pure vanilla. If you use the imitation, and you can, don't get me wrong, you can use the imitation, but the pure doesn't have that like alcohol aftertaste. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is a better product. So, now that looks good. So now we're going to add the eggs. I'm going to shut it off. Last time I did that, I don't know, maybe I was going too fast and the eggs ended up on me rather than, and we don't want to mess around with eggs today. Come on. So your best bet is to make sure when you add in your eggs, you add them in 1 at a time, and you make sure that it is mixed up. When my granddaughters are here, they like to break the eggs, and they like to break the eggs. Now when they break the eggs, we usually have crunchy cake. Okay, now when it's all mixed, you just pour the extract right in. We're gonna move it a little faster. Now you gotta scrape the sides. Always scrape in the sides, get everything in there. The mixer is a nice mixer. Having a stand mixer is, oh my God, it's such a plus. But no matter what, you still gotta scrape, and you still gotta get your scraper right down in there. So we're gonna just put this down, put it back up, let it go, and Now we're going to put the flour in. Just want to mix up what I stirred. I suggest you take it down, put the flour in. Don't try to put the flour in while it's mixing, because again, you'll be wearing flour. So you want to get the flour all in there. Now this cake is a very dense cake. So when you are pouring it into the pan, it's right. Some people think because it's not, just pouring in, that there's something wrong. I'm going to use a little square here. You can make cupcakes with this if you would like. Spray it. Now I use a spray that has flour already in it. It seems to work the best. Also, before I even started, I did set my oven for 350 because you want to have it preheated before you do anything. Usually, pretty much always, a baking item, anything that you're baking, you can't just put into a cold oven and just start the temperature. I know some people have tried that, but it doesn't work. I'm telling you, it just doesn't work. So once this is all kind of incorporated, which it is good, you also put in a half a cup of sour cream. So this is my sour cream. Any sour cream would do. Now we're going to mix it all up. So there we go. It doesn't take long, actually, and it's not really many ingredients, and you can use any honey you prefer. So the thing with honey is, depending on what honey you get, it's going to have a different flavor. So if I use the spring honey, it would have a lighter flavor. Now having the fall honey, because the fall honey is richer, deeper, it'll have a different flavor. And there's all kinds of honeys out there. I mean, you don't have to have your own hive in the backyard. You can have, you can buy it at the stores. You can buy it from a local beekeeper. There's more and more out there. People are just, they got beehives in cities now. So it is, actually it's a nice hobby. And you get this beautiful honey. I mean, something that you can use for almost anything, right? So if you do want to start your own beehive, I would definitely call a local beekeeper to help you out, because they know what they're doing and they can help you out. When we started, we had a, and he still comes over, we had a beekeeper come in and, explain everything to us. So now he's, he's like a friend now. So he comes in and he tells us, whoops, you gotta do this, or yep, you gotta do that. So yeah, we are gonna put it in the oven. The oven is set at 350. And it's going to take about 35 minutes. So pop it in the oven. And for me, I always set the timer. So I'm setting it for 35 minutes. What I will do is check it. Maybe I'll check it before the 35 minutes. And we will check it with, I have a little cake tester here. This is what I use. Or you can use toothpicks. So with that, we're just going to wait for the cake to be done. Now we're going to make something for dinner with our honey. I'm going to make a honey garlic chicken. So what I have here is my breasts. I did cut them so they're a little thinner. So I just, horizontally sliced them. So we're going to get these ready. And then I also have some thighs. I'm not going to do the thighs, but the thighs are just like what you would do with the, and I cut them in smaller pieces. So these are nice too, like especially if you're going to do it for maybe, you can even get them smaller and use it as an appetizer, with have toothpicks. So I just wanted to show you that, but we're going to use the breasts. And these are 2 full breasts that I cut horizontally. So we're going to get these out here. Now, I'm just going to cover this. And you can do it any way you want. Like those can be little nuggets. You can actually even deep fry them and then put them in this nice honey garlic glaze sauce that we're going to use. So a little bit of garlic salt. We'll get some pepper. Again, if you want more pepper, then by all means, put as much pepper as you want. I'm all right with pepper. I don't need to turn my chicken black though. I'm just gonna flip them over so I can get the other side. Now, if you don't have garlic salt, by all means use garlic powder, but then add also a little bit of salt. And you can do it that way also. So we're just gonna put a little flour on them. Just make sure you get it all. Get all the flour in there. And then just make sure you shake it off because you don't want to be eating flour. I mean, I would throw maybe a quarter cup of flour, half a cup of flour, just so you have enough. You are now going to fry these up. Now these chickens should go fast. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of butter in our fry pan, and we're going to hold off 1 tablespoon for when we add the garlic and the honey. We're going to get it on pretty well high, medium, more to the high side, because you want to actually sear the chicken. So let me just get these cubes in there. 1, 2, and 3. You can come home from work and whip this up in maybe a half an hour tops. You can just leave it that way. You can put it over noodles, you can put it over rice, you can put it over whatever or not. But it makes a quick dinner. Throw in a salad and voila, you would have, especially if you're going to use minute rice, it's like you have dinner in no time. I think it's a great recipe. It tastes nice. I think the kids would like it. And if you're not really a garlicky person, don't put all that garlic in it. I would say don't put any garlic in it, but that's part of the recipe. So our butter's all melted and it's all nice and bubbly. So now we're going to put the chicken in. Now the chicken, probably 3 to 4 minutes on each side. You want it to have a nice coating on it. So don't keep messing with it. You can cover it and let that just cook. But like I said, it's going to take about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. So while your chicken's cooking, you can get your rice ready or your pasta ready or whatever you're gonna put the chicken on. I cut up some thighs, and what I would do is I would actually cook the thighs the exact same way. Now you can also, like I said, deep fry them. If you deep fry them, then you have all these little nuggets, then you make the sauce and let it sit in the sauce. Maybe the kids might like that a little more. So as that's gonna cook, I'm gonna flip it. As soon as I flip to the other side, in about 3 minutes, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So let's check the chicken. Check the chicken. Okay. Oh, look at that, nice golden brown. I'm going to flip them. Come on. And of course, this is going to make a messier stove, right? If you don't cover it, it's going to splash it all over the place. So we're going to let that maybe another 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I'm just going to lower it just a little bit. Let that side cook. Okay, so right now I'm going to lower it a little bit, which I did. I'm going to melt this butter. And then in between, I'm going to put the garlic in. And like I said, if you're a garlic person, put more garlic in. Well, I can smell it already. Oh yeah. You know, we used to watch, you know, the food, the cooking shows. You know, I always say, oh, I wish you people had smell-o-vision. Well, I wish you had smell-o-vision. Vinegar. Soy sauce. I'm going to mix that up a little bit. Okay, now the honey. Here we go. Oh boy. Now when we extracted the honey, we did leave you know, quite a bit in, because that is what the bees live off. I mean, this is their food that we're eating. So, you know, you gotta be kind to them and they'll be kind to you. So what we did was we extracted what we thought we could, you know, use. And of course my husband says, oh, how much honey did you use? I said, well, 3 jars. 3 jars? I says, oh my God, you got plenty of honey. Don't worry about it. Besides, we'll do it again in the spring, so. Okay, put that on to the side here. Now I'm gonna mix this honey. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer. You'll see that the sauce is gonna start getting thick because of the honey, and then you'll be able to just plate it right after that. And it depends on how thick you want the sauce. So the longer you let it simmer, the more it will thicken up. But you gotta keep an eye on it. Once it really starts to thicken, it can go quickly. So, and you don't wanna, I mean, if you burn it with the honey, throw the pan away, get a new one. I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna reduce it to a simmer. We are going to let it sit there for a few minutes, let it reduce a little bit, let it get thick. While this is doing that, that's when you can really do your rice or your pasta or anything else. By the time you're done with that, this will be done. So let me show you the end result in just a few minutes. So here we are. Everything's finished. We have our rice. We have our chicken breasts, and we have the chicken thighs. So whichever way, like I said, you want to do it. And if you want to have extra sauce, go right ahead. So this is how I serve it. Just a little bit of rice. I'm just going to get me one of these little nuggets and put that right on top of my rice. And then I'm going to get some sauce. Put that right over here. And we got that. My family likes more sauce, so I will make them more sauce. And let me just taste it, just to make sure it came out okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See the honey right there? I have to take another bite, just in case. Now, you don't have to serve everything on honey plates, but it's kind of cute. My little bees. This is so good. I'm telling you. Everybody would love this. I'm gonna put this right over here. Now the cakes. Okay. So I got 2. This one I frosted with honey buttercream frosting. This one is plain. Now you can do 1 or 2 things with this one. Just leave it like that. I am going to put some, a little more than powdered sugar than I wanted. I'm going to put some little powdered sugar on it. Okay, I'm going to cut it and show you what else. Here we go. See? Beautiful. I mean, that's nice with the powdered sugar. But honey whipped cream is probably a little bit better. Get some of that whipped cream. What can I say? It is very good. So, it's not sweet, even though it's got the honey in it. It's a very nice cake to go with coffee, tea, or whatever. So this is what happens when you have honey from your hive and you bring it to your table. There is so many other things you can do with honey. It's good for your health, it's good for cooking, and along with that, there's different products. Like this is the pollen. So I bought it, I have it in my hives. Some people say sprinkle on your pastry, whatever. I prefer not to. And I do wanna just lean over and grab this book. Obviously, when we were going into the hive, having our hives, we got a lot of books. This is only a sampling of what the bees pollinate. This is the food we eat. This is the food that won't be in your grocery store, on your table, if we didn't have honeybees. They are that important. There is a lot here. So if, for some reason, you have found that you have a lot of bees and you don't know if it's a honeybee or whatever kind of bee, please call your local pest control because they will know right off what kind of bee it is. If it's a honeybee, they will call a beekeeper and the beekeeper will come down and remove them. Because what happens sometimes in your hive, they decide to swarm. The queen says, I've had enough. She goes out the door and all her little worker bees go with her. Now there is times once you find the swarm, you can just collect them again and bring them right back. So it's very important. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what it is, just give them a call. They'll come down, they'll check it out. You cannot kill honeybees because we need them. So with that said, don't you like to have this on your family table? I'm going to continue to eat. See you next time.